Screw it, whatever. We're gonna roll.
We're going. Okay,
We're rolling right now.
Cool.
All right. So first off, before we get too far, the universe did not want us to do this episode today.
It really didn't. Or just
Or live.
Yeah.
And live at this point. Between vacations, work schedules.
Say it's been what, over a month now since we've done one of these?
Yeah. Illnesses.
McDonald's.
I'm naturally this pale. That's why I'm glowing.
My eyes.
I look like an angel. So, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later. All right, bye.
So we are Gabara. Welcome back, everybody.
If you're still here.
If you're still here. What movie are we covering today? They can't see that. That's shiny as hell.
And it's reversed. Gamera, Guardian of the Universe. Not to be confused with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, because Gamera is better.
And this is the first movie in the Hezai trilogy that came out. So,
also, funny story, this part, today is the anniversary of me showing my wife the first Gamera movie.
Oh.
I saw that this morning on Facebook. And it's like, I knew the first Gamera movie was bad. I didn't know it, I forgot that it was this bad, and I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's very enjoyable, and I love Gauss. Gauss is probably my favorite Gamera.
No, I'm talking about the first Gamera.
The original.
Yeah.
So
believe it or not.
Ooh, yeah.
A long time ago.
Pancake Gamera? Waffle one?
He's about that wide.
It really is.
A long time ago, in the Showa era, this company wanted to rival Godzilla, so they created a turtle that could fly like a flying saucer. And
what could go wrong?
These movies were so bad that you can find, I think, almost every one of them, on Mystery Science Theater.
Oh yeah,
that
I watched a couple on there. Guerin,
how bad they are.
Turtle meat.
I have them, and I've yet to even watch it.
What?
So,
the MSTK?
I haven't seen any of those. And
what? Oh my god, you gotta watch the Guerin one.
I have. Well, I've seen the.
So good.
Yeah, no, I have the movies. I have the actual movies.
Yeah.
I got them from Walmart for like $5 in a pack, or it was Target. That had the Hezai Gamera face on it, and
then
they're all Showa movies.
Oh.
So in 1996.
Is this 96?
95.
Yeah.
Legion is 96. 1995, Toho kills Godzilla. And then...
In Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
Dai, there we go, I was right. In my head. Decided to bring back Gamera. And in my opinion... these movies...
Before you say it, you told this to me, and I was very hesitant about it. And then after watching this Gamera trilogy, what you're about to say, I completely agree with.
These movies are better than the Godzilla movies.
They really are. If anything, just down from like set design by itself blows them out of the water.
Oh, the
miniatures, everything.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Now, I'm not saying that the Godzilla movies are bad.
No, for me, they're
fun.
always number one. They're always number one for me. But film-wise, as
the
a better
movies,
film... Yeah.
They're better. They're the props, the acting, the stories, the
acting.
Everything's better.
Except for Birdman in this movie. He's way out of his element.
Wait, which Birdman?
The Bird Doctor. Not the girl, but the guy.
No, he's dead.
No. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about...
Oh, yeah, he's out of his element. He's bird poop.
That guy. Well, yeah. No, the guy who's with the girl.
Oh, the cop.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. It's dark. It's dark.
Shouldn't we just come back?
That guy is way out of his element.
And this is one thing that Toho finally does, is that they bring back Miki Sagusa in every one of the Hezai movies, well, except The Return of Godzilla. From Biollante on to Destroyer, they bring back... I know, I was like, oh, crap, sorry. They bring back Mickey. Well, in these three Gamera movies, they bring back him in all three movies. Sylvester Stallone's daughter,
who plays Asagi,
a very important character in all three movies, and then they bring back the bird girl.
No, yeah, it's bad. I can't remember.
She's cute.
Literally just watched it last night.
I know. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, It'd be alright.
I think though, honestly, her voice actress in the dubbing is Asuka from Evangelion, which you probably don't know because you're watching the Netflix one.
Yeah, and I still need to finish it. I've only watched the first episode still. You know, you're staying up late playing Borderlands, Destiny. It's hard to, you know, it hits like 2:30 in the morning. You're like, I gotta eat some food and go to bed.
Okay, so movie starts off. Ship runs aground that's carrying plutonium, and
You know, because that's safe.
yeah, and I love it. They even say it's like, if something were to happen, this entire place would be a graveyard. Like,
Yeah.
and thanks for the
Only a fraction of breathing it would
cause
cause
cancer.
in any living creature.
Dude, you're a tool, man. Like,
Right?
but they run across
An atoll.
An atoll.
An atoll.
which turns out to be Gamera later.
Yeah, because it's moving and they follow it through the water, and I'm like, come on, guys.
Okay, we're gonna go through this really quick.
Yeah.
So, in the meantime, this little village on an island gets completely destroyed by an unknown monster. Turns out it's Gauss.
Bird. It's bird. It's a big bird.
It's a big old flat-headed reptile bird, which I love in the news. It's just like
Which, by the way, we're doing something a little bit different.
we're doing it in the dark.
Well, there's good lighting. But you don't have any. You don't have Gauss out to show anyone, nor do you have Gamera out. I was going to bring Gamera, but I'm saving that one because my Gamera's from Gamera 3.
There's a lot in the way.
It's Gauss.
Gauss.
Don't worry about it right now. There'll be pictures online afterwards.
We'll get to a point. He'll keep talking, and I'll go and. Okay, I won't because that's a lot.
Yeah, there'll be pictures online afterwards.
My kid just got a hold of that this morning, actually.
Gauss?
No, the cabinet.
Oh, I was about to be like, oh.
Yeah, I came back in from cutting grass.
That Gauss is not cheap anymore. I've been looking.
And my wife says, like, yeah, I locked the Caro cabinet because I only got a hold of some of the stuff. What?
What?
No, none of it was her. So, Gauss kills a lot of people, and then they try to capture it. And
Terrible idea. They used the stadium to capture it.
I think it was a good idea. They caught two.
I thought they killed one, and then
No, they caught two.
there was a hole blew up in the roof, and then the other two fly out. Isn't that right?
It didn't close. Okay, so
Yeah.
they tranquilize one of them. It goes down. The other one goes screaming towards Bird Girl, cute Bird Girl, Asuka. Her name's gonna be Asuka from now on. And then the soldiers just light it up. It goes down, and you gotta watch Eva. They capture those two, but one escapes, and as it escapes, a helicopter is following it in night vision across the water, and all of a sudden,
Here comes Gamera.
what is amazing, just comes up out of the water, sees Gauss, hits it, B slaps it
Yeah, yeah. Safe to say. Yeah.
into a refinery. It explodes. One Gauss down, 2 to go.
I thought they killed the crap out of one.
I thought they did.
They shoot the hell out of it.
They know it survived because they both like look up and
Yeah, that's right. They do the beams.
Yeah.
And they slice the cages.
it has a sonic beam. I think that's what it's called. It just screams.
It's hyper beam. It's just a hyper beam.
Yeah. Hyper. We'll come into that a little bit later. But that's about it. It turns out Sylvester Stallone's daughter
Asagi.
is. I'm gonna get that right here in a second. She has one of those little.
A soggy piece of bread. Oh no.
She's cute in this movie too. So Sailor Guy hooks up with the guy, teams up with her dad because he's an insurance adjuster.
Yeah, yeah. And
They go looking for the atoll.
comes to his house and starts cooking him dinner just to
Yeah.
like be able to like
Welcome
get
home.
the job. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they go and they find the atoll and they find these little.
The little hooks.
Comma
That's what I was calling them. They're like,
necklace things.
like little like raptor claws almost.
They do the raptor claws, and he keeps one and gives it to Asagi, and then she becomes linked to Gamera.
Psychically linked.
Yeah, and so every time Gamera there's a cut in his face or cut on his arm, she
She'll
gets
get
it
the
too.
Same thing.
Yeah. So that happens over the course of the movie.
And it also seems like it's more than that too. Like she can Like there's
She can feel him.
yeah, well, there's a scene later on when she's like, "Move, Gamera, move," and then he
She
like
can talk to it. Yeah.
dips out. Yeah,
Run away!
Yeah.
And he just flies off. Turns out the gals are asexual. Well, they're both sexes at one time, and they can reproduce. No problem. A lot of eggs start hatching. They start eating one another, and
which is a pretty gruesome scene in the movie when they stumble upon it. You don't actually see it, but they go in there, and there's just like all the eggs ripped apart and the dead
They start
baby
eating one another.
gals, and there's just like strode about everywhere. But all of it's like pure practical effects.
Yeah.
And it is awesome.
This-
Again, highlighting back to how good the effects and miniatures and everything is for this, all the props for these movies.
there's thinking about Godzilla again. Like, what's the most gruesome thing in the Heisei series you could think of? I think like the foam coming out of his mouth, Ghidorah's head being blasted off.
Yeah, maybe the acid being shot onto him from Biollante as it starts like melting away part of him. That's
yeah,
pretty.
the spear through the hand.
But
Godzilla melting.
that's probably it, honestly,
It's just
because you see all the skin fall
Peel
off and
apart.
everything. That's probably the most gruesome scene.
so in Gamera we have torn apart baby gals. We have bird pellets that.
Oh, that's not a pellet. That's a recreation of the Jurassic Park scene of her of them digging through the Triceratops crap.
There's a pin. There's a pair of sunglasses, a pair of eyeglasses that ooze out of it. So that
It's pretty nasty.
there's human in that. Later in the movies, Gauss's eyes just.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
This movie does. These
It gets
movies,
graphic.
Yeah,
It does a lot of things that Toho did not want to do.
I don't know why I had this like. It does because this is awesome. And even in
It's a lot of fun.
the Gamera proof of concept trailer, which is amazing.
And that dude, by the way, oh man, did you hear the thing about that?
They actually may do it. No.
The guy who I think it's like the president or whatever of that company. It was like a tweet like from just a couple days ago. Someone asked him. They were like, "Hey, since Godzilla's doing well, you know, yada yada, y'all gonna bring back Gamera?" And he basically said something along the lines of like, "Yeah, possibly."
They should.
They should, because that that concept trailer is the jam. It's only like 3 minutes long. Go look it up.
It's
I think
amazing.
you just type in Gamera 2016, 2017, because it's just a couple years old.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the Gamera like 2016 trailer.
Yeah.
Ultraman's also awesome, but you even see in that trailer the Gauss in it, their eyes just, and then they just turn to bone. So, long story short, in all this, because we're running 12 minutes into this, in true Highlander fashion, there can only be one.
Yep.
So there's one Gauss that has been eating the other Gauss, and as this happens, it grows.
He starts eating horses. Remember that scene?
I know he ate a dog.
Well, yeah, that was in the beginning. I'm talking about like after he gets huge and they're on the bridge. He's behind those trees and he leans up and he's got like a horse in his mouth.
No, that one gets blown up. Yep. I'm remembering this movie different too, and then last night when I watched it, like, oh, that isn't the one. Yeah, because there's
He
amazing scene.
takes a fireball to the face.
Yep.
Yep.
And then blows up. But I think the Super Gauss is one of the ones that does survive, that flies away.
Mm-hmm.
But that scene's also amazing. It's one of the like best scenes in the
Gamera
movie.
comes in and protects the child.
Yeah.
Who's on the bridge from the beam. The Gauss shoots out this hyper beam.
Hits him in the hand.
Puts a block on it.
Well, no, does she get? I don't think at this point she gets the cut on her hand.
I don't think so.
But
Yeah.
this comes into play later because when he gets his hand cut from the beam, he does not get his arm cut in the third movie from the Gauss beam. So Gamera evolves over the course of these 3 movies to become the perfect Gamera. But as he's fighting Gauss at the end of the movie, he's got these spurs that shoot out of his forearm or his elbow. They stick around for the rest of the movies, with the rest of the trilogy. And then you got like some of the damage from Legion still on him.
He gets messed up in Legion.
Yeah, he does. We'll talk about that in the next episode.
I'm excited to cover those too. That's
love
what I was gonna say. Is like I
Love
love this
Legion.
movie. Gauss is my favorite Gamera villain, but for me, this is the weakest of the trilogy.
Well, yeah.
I really enjoyed Legion and then Iris, probably the best.
I don't know why, but I love Legion the most.
Yeah, Legion's awesome.
Yeah, Legion. Oh,
But
that
we
design.
will get to those though.
Next time. And then they destroy the government, the army, try to take out Gauss, and accidentally destroy the Tokyo Tower.
Yeah, they shoot all the Sands missiles at him, and Gauss is just chilling on top of the tower. Super Gauss now, just chilling on top of Tokyo Tower at this point, right?
I cannot remember.
Anyway, they shoot all.
No
of
wonder
them.
we don't get any views. We're terrible at this.
I know.
So they shoot
Well, I
the
said
missiles.
before we even started filming, I was like, I just watched this movie last night. For some reason, my head's in a fog.
Yeah, and I've been sick the last week, so I don't. We're off our game. We're getting back into this.
It's been about.
We're knocking the rust off.
Come on, guys.
So they shoot the missiles. Gas flies around. It blows up
That's
Tokyo
what it
Tower.
also needs is sound effects. By the way.
I know. Gauss. And the army commander guy, captain there, the most intense Ken Watanabe, just looks. All he does is just look. Like this guy.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's awesome. But they blow the top of it off. The tower goes down, and then Gauss just lands on top of it and makes a nest. And then as the sun goes down, Gauss just sits there with his head down, and
That's a really
So
cool
it's
scene,
like-
by the way, because
it
when he's
is.
just sitting on top of the destroyed tower with the sun setting behind him, really cool. And that tower, one thing I like about this is, if I remember correctly, that tower stays like that the rest of the trilogy. Because I think you see it again in Gamera 3.
I can't wait to watch Gamera 3 again.
I think because like the events of these movies, unlike Godzilla movies, the events of these
The
movies,
city's just rebuilt automatically.
yeah, exactly. These actually stay damaged. Like it's like Mass Effect. The choices that were made in this movie do carry on to the next one.
I miss Leora.
So, but yeah, so then Gamera eventually comes up through the ground, and they come up into the
Fireballs.
final battle between the two in the movie.
Fireballs the S out of the nest, and the eggs
Takes
fall.
out all the eggs. The eggs are like bigger than cars when they start falling.
This is where it takes a slight turn for me. Like, I love the movie, don't get me wrong. But it's like, when you see the eggs start hitting the ground and hitting the cars, they look a little bit too much like miniatures.
No, I think they look fine.
It does. But it's just something in my nerd brain, just like, that just clearly doesn't look right. Like, why are you the way that you are? I don't know. And then another thing is when they're fighting, when Gauss...
When they're flying up into space, that's when it starts to look a little bad. But I mean, there's only so many ways you can do that one.
But when Gauss is like on two legs, and they have that... I cannot remember her name. She is, I think, accordingly, the first woman to portray a kaiju in these movies. She's Gauss. So
Oh yes, yeah, the first woman suit actor.
we have a picture on our Facebook. If you scroll down.
Wasn't she also Baragon?
No, it was a different girl.
That's a different girl. Okay.
Yep. She's adorable. But when Gauss is on two legs and just fighting Gamera and they're just hitting on it, that scene looks a little odd.
I thought that was like great tokusatsu though.
It is. But it's just like you see Gauss flying this entire time, and then all of a sudden it's kind of standing upright.
It's man in the suits. It's there.
No, it's a woman in a suit,
Sorry.
Alex.
A woman in the suit, and they're sitting there,
Sexist.
sitting there fighting. I thought it looked great. That was one of the highlights.
Well, it's just, to me, it's because it's a bird, and like you don't see Rodan
Yeah,
doing that.
Yeah, you do.
Standing on 2 feet, like hitting when he's not flying.
Yeah,
When?
get over 3-headed monster. He stands there and has a fight with Godzilla for a minute. Granted, they're throwing a bunch of rocks at each other, but he is standing there doing stuff. We literally just covered this movie not long ago.
If you ever talk to me like that on my podcast, I will strike you.
Ours, sir.
But no, and then immediately I was like, Gauss should be flying, like fighting with the talons.
Which
and
is what mainly they do. At the
30
end of the-
seconds later, he just flies and just strikes, and that's awesome. But the fight's amazing. It's
Gamera falls twice. The first time, he gets hit and he falls all the way down. I think that's when Gauss comes back down again. But then they fly back up, and this time they go up into space, and they fall all the way back down.
Gauss it severs its foot
Yeah.
to get away from Gamera. Oh.
That's rough.
That's
solid
the
stuff.
part that'll get to me. It's like and just gone. It doesn't make that sound.
But Gamera falls down into I guess whatever that big factory.
Yet another refinery in this movie.
And it just a giant fireball. He then sucks all the fire into him. Well, that's what they're about to
Gauss
do.
comes down, hits another oil tank in there to blow it up even more.
Because Gauss has no chill.
No. And then Asagi and her dad join hands.
Yeah, and the little hook lights up, which is a running thing throughout this movie. Every time that she is about to have a psychic connection with Gamera, the little hook starts to light up.
So they pull. So Guardians of the Galaxy does this too. Like, oh no, they're holding the thing, they join hands, and they all become stronger. Well, Guardian of the Universe did it first.
Are you suggesting that the hook is an Infinity Stone?
Yes! It glows!
Yes!
Why not?
Yes.
Crack it open, there's going to
Only
be
certain people can wield them? I think we're onto something.
Gamera is part of the MCU. And then as you were saying.
So yeah, all the fire gets sucked back into Gamera. He stands up, he's sitting there, and then Gauss begins to do his hyper beam.
Okay, that shot when he comes up.
Oh, out of the fire?
And they're looking at each other.
Oh, that shot's awesome.
And it's kind of over the shoulder of Gauss, and excuse me, Gamera just standing there, and that's one of the iconic shots that you'll see a lot, in the promotional stuff. It's just Gamera just standing there, the head tilted, the eyes are up. Gamera's a brawler.
That's just what I was about to say. I mean, you've talked about this too. Yeah. Godzilla gets in there and he fights, and he hits you with his ray or his tail, but Gamera gets in and just takes licks. He gets messed up in every movie, and he just always gets back up and keeps punching. He is definitely your bar type brawler.
Spurs.
Yeah.
Throwing some bows. I want to say sometimes he's grabbed a hold of one of the monsters just so they couldn't just get away and just keep hitting them. Bites. He has them big tusks, which are pointless, I guess. You can't really open your mouth big enough to do it. But
although, if it was a Nightmare Gamera.
We'll get to that in part 3.
Nightmare Gamera. Yeah, anyway.
But
they fire each other at the same time, but the fireball hits Gauss in the face, and from a distance you see his head kind of blow up, and he just falls over in fire and blows up. But one shot I really like right after that is you see it kind of from Gamera's perspective of just this now giant fireball where Gauss once stood, but his hyper beam is still shooting up in the air.
He has no head.
It's just flickering, and it slowly flickers into nothing, and then that's kind of showing that he's dead now.
That was beautiful.
It's a really cool scene.
Yeah. And you would think at the time that Gamera's dead. Gauss is dead. Well,
there's always more Gauss.
Yeah, they're birds. They lay a lot of eggs.
Gauss.
And
which we'll get to again in Gamera 3.
Yeah, and I think Gauss is Gamera's King Ghidorah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's the arch villain.
Yeah, he shows up in all the movies. He shows up in a lot of the movies more often than any of the other
Which is
ones.
one thing I like about this trilogy that they did is they started out with his arch villain, and then they went
with two new ones.
But something that Toho does not like to do. Toho will reuse the same villain every time. It gets really old. Every now and then they'll bust out a new one. But then they never use them again.
Space Godzilla.
Well, yeah, but Biollante, Titanosaurus.
Batra.
Batra is cool, but he's just Dark Mothra. He's Space Godzilla.
That's true.
He's the same thing. I'm talking something...
Not only is he the same thing, he has the same roar as Rodan. Toho.
Why isn't there Space Rodan?
There's a space Gauss in the
I
show up.
was gonna say. So I mean, yeah, something completely new. Megalon. As bad as that movie is, Megalon.
But even then, the Mega Nulon were in Rodan.
They were in Rodan, yes, but that's not Megalon, is it? That's Megaguirus. That's baby Megaguirus.
Not Megalon. Mega Nulon.
Yeah, that's baby.
That's like the babies.
Yeah, that's baby Megaguirus.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Megalon. That's what I'm talking about. You're talking about completely different movies.
Mm-mm.
Yes. Mega Nulon is not baby Megalon.
No, okay, if I said that, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No,
Like, no.
Mega Nulon they were in Rodan. They were I keep doing this.
That's what Rodan was eating when he was a baby.
because the Rodan, they're this big. But to us, they're,
like big as a car.
yeah, they're like two people inside that suit. And they drag this little puppet across the screen. It's, for a 60s movie, that's terrifying. But
It looks horrible. Just a big insect.
Yeah, the sound too. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. But yeah, they grow up to be Megaguirus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say Megalon again.
Which is cool, but that's something again that these movies do a lot better than your average Toho movie. Is they started out with a movie with a villain that everyone knows, that you would almost be like, where's he at if you didn't have him?
Yeah.
And then they go to something completely new, and they don't muck around with it either. Like the new ones that they do are awesome. Definitely put their stamp in the Gamera universe.
Sorry.
Unlike Megalon.
Unlike Megalon.
Or Gabara.
Speaking of Gabara, so something like we found out while we were gone, well, while we were off air, there's a guy on YouTube that talks about All Monsters Attack, and he said in the Japanese version, the little kid actually taunts Gabara after the fight, and he says, "Gabara the cripple, Gabara the cripple." Like, that's terrible.
Horrible.
And my child starts la 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 la.
Oh no! You're like, no, son, please
Cutting it
don't.
off, cutting it off, cutting it off. Me and my wife. You don't make fun of
Come on, man.
handicapped people. So back to Gamera.
So one thing I wanted to talk about is this movie has some great lines. Just like there's a scene where a couple of guys are sitting down and they're talking. It's Asagi, her dad, and the the journalist, I think, not the cop, the guy or the insurance guy who came to work for them. Anyway.
Oh, the sailor guy.
Yeah, sailor guy. Yeah. They're talking about it, and they're talking about the stone tablet that they originally found on the atoll. That I guess kind of awakens Gamera because they touch it and it has a pulse and then it like crumbles.
Shouldn't this be cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's warm.
And then it just like shatters and then everything starts shaking and the guy falls in the water and he sees Gamera's eyes open and his mouth open underneath the water.
To them giant tusks.
Mm-hmm. But so they're sitting there and they're talking about this thing and they're like, you mean that the line was like, you mean he was created by the Atlanteans? And I wrote it down, and the guy that Asagi was talking to says, well, how else would you explain a flying turtle?
Okay, so I've heard that in that universe, in the Gamera universe, turtles don't exist. So there's no turtles. That's a very sad world.
There's no turtles?
No turtles. Yeah, but
I've never heard that.
yeah,
It's strange. Why wouldn't there be turtles?
it's just that
There can only be one.
there can only be one. In that universe, turtles don't exist. So, but if you listen to the American dubbing, they mention turtles. I'm fine with it. It does not like turtles don't exist.
Yeah, because how
in
do
this
they
world.
know what a turtle is then?
Yeah, it's like watching the rebirth of Mothra movies. In the first movie, they call Mothra a he, and then in the rest of them, it's still the same Mothra. It's Leo Mothra. But they go back and it's just like, oh no, she's in trouble. Like a movie ago, it was a he. Now it's a she. Dubbing Americans.
There's also some poor choices in this movie.
Like attacking Gamera. Oh, clearly he's the bigger threat.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I wrote down in the notes is like
He's not eating people.
they want to kill Gamera over Gauss, even though Gauss has went from island to island attacking villages But just because Gamera shows up once and happens to destroy part of the city.
Yeah, I thought about it. I just thought about it. Oh yeah, he did destroy.
What? You can't help it. He's a giant turtle that landed in a
Everything.
city. What do you think he's gonna do?
He could have flew there. Yeah, but they didn't want to reveal that. Like,
He flies away after that to chase down Gauss.
Oh, I did that. This reminded me of something.
So yeah, for those who don't know, how Gamera flies is he shoots out a bunch of smoke and stuff out of his where his limbs go because he's a turtle, so he can tuck them in, and he flies up in the air and spins around really fast and takes
Like a flying
off.
saucer.
Yeah.
He's done it since the show period. It sets him apart.
That's nothing,
funny.
It's nothing new. At least he didn't jump on a baton. And swing
Okay,
around
so there's
in
no.
this one.
There isn't really.
Do any gymnastics.
There isn't any like goofy moments like that. Like you type in Gamera, like Showa Gamera,
You're gonna get nothing but goofy moments.
you'll find that it was very kid friendly.
Well, because he's friend to all children.
Yeah,
I mean, it's part of the songs and stuff that they sing in the old Gamera movies. Is that he's a guardian of the universe, but he's also a friend to all children.
well,
And-
in the first movie, like he did destroy the cities. He was kind of like Godzilla. He came ashore. He was destroying a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
He ate a lot of stuff, but he did save a child, and that is supposed to let you know that he's friendly towards children. Well, what about the buildings that he just
Well,
destroyed?
there were no kids in that one. He scanned them. He did an ocular pat down.
He put them glasses on.
So, but even in
It's
this
clear.
movie, he puts his hand out to save the child over the bridge and takes the beam from Gauss. So I mean, there's stuff, but I will say, like, spoiler alert, as these movies progress, Gamera begins to care a little less about people.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that makes these movies even better is the titular character does evolve in more ways than just appearance. His personality begins to change.
In the second movie, he tries a little bit more to save people, I think.
It just goes south
But
at some
then-
point.
But then he has to go Super Saiyan on this, and it's not a Kadama. That's Kama thing.
Rapper Claw.
Yeah, the Rapid Claw. It breaks, and that severs his tie with humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And then in
And at
Gamera
that
3
point-
shows up, he's beast mode. Like his shell's different. It's
Yeah.
plates. It's not like a shell. It's like scale armor at this
Mm-hmm.
point. He looks,
He looks mean.
yeah.
He looks like, and then that's where you also see Nightmare Gamera, which is kind of different thing entirely, but it's
That's what I think. Like Gamera 5, if they did a Gamera 5, he would have evolved into that by that point. Like, wow, you look
Probably.
like a mean person.
probably. So anyway, that's pretty much this movie. Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, because we're pushing 33 minutes. Movie's awesome.
Movie is great. Trilogy is great. You can buy them pretty cheap. They have Blu-rays of them now. So if you are
Blu-rays are
interested,
pretty cheap.
Yeah, and you can get a trilogy. You don't have to buy them separate. You can get the Gamera Hezai trilogy on Blu-ray. All three movies, pretty awesome. Put it over. Yeah, there we go. I'd look better as Gamera. Right there. That's my face.
There we go.
We're just gonna do that for the rest of every episode. I will be Gamera.
We're going to go
Your
back to
host.
the way that we were before, or our avatars were figures. Yeah.
That was fun though. We didn't do a setup this time.
No, because we're trying to get
again,
back in the swing of things.
Yeah, he didn't feel well.
Alright.
Little rusty on my part too. But we are gonna have. I'm doing some new buildings. I got him a couple new ones. I'm working on a really cool one for Mothra. So next time, hopefully, I'll have all that done, and we can kind of go back like how we were doing. We'd swap back, and you can see the figures because actually we do have Gamera and Gauss figures.
On that note, I have a Gamera 2 figure. He has a Gamera 3 figure.
I was gonna bring you, but I figured I'd just save it for Gamera 3.
Yeah, just say for Gamera 3 because we'll show the progression.
Yep.
We don't have a Gamera 1 figure, or
They
this-
are making it,
And
it's
this is what ticks me off
stupid expensive and
because it's an exclusive.
only in Japan. So
So-
you can get it here.
So that means Big Bad Toy Store. Now I understand why they're doing it, but it's $180.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It looks
Hell with
amazing.
that.
It comes with effect pieces that I would never use, but I just when I have it anyway. But you can pull all of his arm. When I did this earlier, like, oh yeah, that figure that I successfully erased from my memory.
Originally, he was only like $100, only $100.
Yeah.
But then Japan was like, no, he's going to be an exclusive, and the price just skyrocketed.
Yeah. They
Same with everything of all these figures with any of the SH Monster Arts figures. If you don't get them in the first like month or two that they're out, the price just goes up because they only make so many of them, and then they become astronomical in price.
I got Gamera 2 for $80, which is good. It had been out for a while, and it just so happened that Big Bad Toy Store still had probably at this point 5 in stock. Got one. It came with that amazing fireball.
That fireball is sweet.
It is, and it fits in his mouth perfectly.
If you actually have been looking at any of the pictures that we post online from past episodes, I know there's one that we did with Godzilla having a big fireball.
That was it.
That's the fireball.
And before that, Revoltech did one, but they were tiny. And I had that one too.
Yeah, your Gauss is Revoltech. And
It is.
Actually is great size.
It's amazing scale.
But trying to find him now, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for that one too. That's why I kind of wish Monster Arts would bring him back.
But it's the P Bandai now. But you can paint different ones.
Yeah, nobody cares. Just give me Gauss.
But yeah, so
Make it a Legion, make an Iris.
Revoltech did a Legion too. It's amazing, but it's also very small too.
Yeah, it doesn't fit scale wise with what we got going on. Godzilla,
When you see later, this will make more sense.
It'd come up to like Godzilla's knee.
Yeah. You're the Legion Queen? Stomp.
As far as any news goes, so a little movie came out during our hiatus, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I saw it twice.
Saw it once.
Man, pick the slack up, man. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I loved it.
I don't want to go in fully in depth now because I would like to cover that movie when it comes out on DVD, so we can actually talk about special features.
Okay, so you'll do the short version.
Just a short. Just give me kind of what you liked.
Rodan is in it.
Yeah, he is Starscream.
He's in it. He's amazing. He was honestly my favorite parts in the movie was Rodan.
Mm-hmm. Him coming out of the volcano was awesome.
Sally Hawkins in it. She's beautiful, and she is then no longer in the movie.
Yeah, I was not happy about that. That was when we cover the movie, that'll be one of the points that I will talk about of how I didn't really agree with what they did there. That was kind of lame.
I like Kyle Chandler. He was good.
The dad?
Yep.
I didn't care for a lot of his choices either.
I liked him, but it's like okay, so this is a Godzilla movie. Do you like the parents? Do you like the family drama?
It's not about that for me. What it was for me was, yeah, okay, he studies animals. Okay, well, what do you think Monarch's been doing all these years?
Studying bigger animals.
And so why does he get to have all of the, like, perfect, like, plot point, like, decisions?
We'll talk about that later.
Exactly. Like, a lot of his, like, oh, we should do this because it makes the most sense. And he looks at, like, Serizawa, and Serizawa's like, you're right. Like, why didn't you have that idea? You've been studying these things longer than anyone. Like, some of that stuff drove me up the wall.
I have the biggest man crush on you now for...
the dramatic glasses takeoff?
Yeah.
That's why I don't get contacts, so I do that.
What was...
But, yeah, overall, I love the movie. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite Godzilla movies now because they went... crazy with it.
It's my favorite American Godzilla movie.
Of the 3, oh yeah, absolutely.
There's 3. Sorry,
2.5.
2.25. There's
in name only.
Yeah. How'd that fight go in Godzilla Final Wars?
It lasted about 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
Yep.
I knew that tuna head wasn't up to much.
Even in what was it? Which Godzilla movie was it where they talked about? I think it was Final Wars. They're like, oh, I thought they discovered that Godzilla was killed in New York. No, they thought that was Godzilla, but it wasn't.
No, GMK.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of GMK, the director did this trilogy.
So everyone, that is a community favorite. GMK is definitely a community favorite. Every Godzilla list that you're gonna see, it ranks it arguably top 5, probably top 3. I don't like a lot of the list because every one of them has the original at number 1, and that's just a given. Like, you don't.
It's a throwaway. Like, oh, number 1's clearly the first one.
It is.
Like,
yeah, it's a throwaway. I mean, let's be honest. It is the best Godzilla movie of all time, but we already knew that. You don't have to put it in your number 1
no,
list. That shit gets old.
Leave it out. Yeah. Well, we just lost funding because you just said it earlier.
Ooh, sorry. our funding.
You didn't know we had sponsors? We'll read them next time.
I'm looking around for them. I don't see any.
Alex's Russian driver to bring him over here was Nikolov pickup drop off. So we have chauffeurs now.
Who wins, Godzilla or John Wick?
Who wins, Godzilla or Bambi?
Oh, yeah, we already seen that one. Godzilla won that one.
But would you show this movie to?
Oh, I would recommend this movie to anyone.
Somebody trying to get into
anybody, yeah, who just likes giant monster. Doesn't even have to be Godzilla. Like, you like giant monster movies. If you've only seen Pacific Rim and Cloverfield, and you haven't really ventured into the Japanese movies, you've only seen American monster movies. I mean, I'm still going to be like, you need to watch the Gamera trilogy.
Yeah. When was the first time you heard about this?
You were telling me about it for a hot minute, and I never listened. I'm being honest. I was just like, yeah, I've seen some Shao Gamera. I've never watched the Hezai.
No, it's so we're running over budget now, but nobody's gonna watch this anyway. So
we got a couple people who will. Oh, got a couple people.
When we hit the 40-minute mark, we know nobody's here, so we're just gonna start.
Well, I was gonna say though, what?
So Vision Video years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. This is where
showing your age by saying Vision
I know VHS tapes. That's where I found out about Gamera, and I saw this movie, and I didn't know that they had made a 2 and a 3. So a few years later, I had it was a forum website that I made on MSN Cities or something like that. It wasn't Geno Cities, but it was something else that Windows did that you could make your own like websites and forums and all that. Mm-hmm. And I had a RPG role-playing game with kaiju. And so it was like, I think it was Toho Kingdom and Rodan's Roost and all those classic Toho kaiju-inspired websites. I was using like this is before Wikipedia, actually, to kind of think of it. They had just like pages and pages of all the different monsters, and it was like Legion. What's Legion? And I click on it, and it's this giant alien ant creature. Yeah. It's like Gamera 2. Like, oh, they made another one?
Yes, they did.
Could never find this movie, and then I paid $30 for the DVD box set on eBay. Huge gamble, paid off, and they have features that I'm going to show you here in a second that the Blu-rays don't have. So if you have the DVDs, or you decide to get you one, if you want to get you one of them DVDs, Gamera 2 and 3 have bloopers for the dubbing, the American dubbing. Have you seen any of those?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
Oh my god! And they have the Texarkana dubbing. Sorry. I told you, man, if I get into this, like, the adrenaline will be pumping. As soon as we cut, though, I'm going to be sick as a dog. The Texarkana, though.
That's a true professional right
there. That's it. I'm going to, next time we do this, I'm going to be shaved. I'm going to have a mustache. I'm going to be Kaiju Freddie Mercury because I'm going to be drunk, but I'm going to get the show done because the show must go on.
That's right.
The Texarkana dubbing, it's the whole movie. Some of the actors, it's the right lines, but the rest of them, they talking like cowboys.
Oh no!
Oh yes!
Oh no!
It's like, man, did you see that big old meteorite just come out of the sky? Man, what you think that was doing? I don't know. I reckon we need to go and check that out. Like, let's go do it.
Oh my god!
It's amazing.
Awful. That is awful.
I think Gamera 2. The Texarkana edition is free to watch on YouTube. So is Gamera 1. So if you see this,
because that's how I watched it last night.
And I've sent it to several friends too. I was like, look, you need to see this movie.
I own it, but
Hey!
My fiance was playing Borderlands. I was building buildings. So I
If
pulled
you're
up
sitting on the toilet with an upset stomach,
with an
you
hour
wanna
and a half to spare. Watch
watch
Gamera.
Gamera.
This, however, the Blu-ray is only what, 10, 15 bucks?
Yeah.
If that.
But it doesn't come with
If
number
that-
3. You got to pay another $10 to get number 3. It's worth it.
I thought they actually had a trilogy now that has all 3 of them.
They do, but when I went looking for it, it had been discontinued, so
Ooh.
I got those.
Still.
I got this at Christmas. Went to Best Buy, and it's just like, there's a Gamera movie here. I kid you not. It was amazing. I
can sense it.
it was amazing. I felt it. And I was just looking around, was going through one copy, and it was just front and center right there. $9.
So what are we covering next?
Gamera 2, Advent of Legion.
So join us next time. Where,
Trying to get me off now?
well, we gotta wrap it up, bro. It's 45.
It's going to take forever to upload
Oh,
this.
I know.
Is it uploaded? No, not yet.
But yeah, so join us, watch these movies, and then comment on our page about it.
Please.
Tell us what you liked about it.
Please.
He's saying please. He's being nice. Come on, guys.
If we get 5 comments, 5. If you made it 45 minutes into this, and we get 5 comments, I'll do the next show naked. It'll be from this up, but do you
Don't comment.
want to see Alex in pure disdain?
There's just gonna be a partition.
My neck hurts.
So anyway, about Gamera.
But yeah, please
But yeah,
like us.
join us next time for Advent of Legion, Gamera 2. Watch these movies. You will enjoy them. They're a lot of fun, and you guys have a excellent time. And yeah, check out the pictures that we're inevitably going to put up online, too.
Probably, maybe sometime.
Yeah, something.